Hello everyone. So today we are going to continue with the inventory system. So when I select one of these items, we can drop or we can consume. And also if I close the inventory and open it again, the changes we did previously in the inventory will be there, will be saved. So if I consume, the hydration level will be increased. If I drop, the item will be dropped and no changes will happen to the any of these health or hydration or food levels of the character. So I'll just consume this, and yeah, now we don't have anything in the inventory like this. So this is the part I am going to do today, and this episode is sponsored by these generous patrons. Thank you very much for your support. Right, now so far in our inventory system, we implemented this. When we consume, the item disappears, and then this part becomes black. Similarly here, and we haven't implemented drop-in part yet. So first thing I want to do is, instead of it becoming black like this, I want it to be similar to these other empty slots. And also if I consume the one here, the item in here should be pushed into the first element. Maybe that part is not necessary. So first let's work on making this part gray as in here. Okay, let's go to the inventory blueprint widget, and as you may have remember, these things are generated dynamically and added to the grid like this here in this initialize grid part. So what happens when we press consume is we set the visibility of that particular item to hidden. But so instead of that, what should happen is, well, let's go to this item. We only need to make this item hidden. So alright, so when we press this button, we have the selected item, and we call consume item function on that selected item too. So what can we do? Let's check that consume item function. Alright, okay, now here we can get the item icon and set visibility to hidden. And also that item should be not selectable after consumption. So how to make sure that happens? Well, actually we can select it like this with this on clicked button. So we can, is there a way to disable this? let's see. Alright, here, yeah, we can set the item to non-interactable. Get the button and set interactable, no, enabled. Set is enabled to false, so we will not be able to select that button anymore. Right, now I don't need to hide it anymore. Okay, compile. Now let's see. Select this, consume. Now as you can see, it's gone. The empty slot is here, like that. Okay, right, now also let's work on drop in items. Right, here in the widget item, I'll create another function called drop item, and just like here, I'll do this part, make it invisible, make the icon invisible, and set is enabled to false. We don't need to update anything, but we need some sound to show the drop effect, some sound to show the dropping. So I'll copy that part too. What's the sound? What are the available sounds? What's this? Right, I imported this whack sound, so I'll play that when I drop an item. Okay, now in the inventory, we need an event on this drop button. On clicked, so we have to make sure that we have a selected item is valid. If yes, we need to call drop item like this, and then just like here, we have to make the drop button and the consume button invisible, like this. Right, now select drop, it's gone, and as you can see, there is no change in any of these bars, unlike when we consume those items. It's just gone. Alright, so yeah, when I reopen this, it's again there, because we are not still saving our state. So that part, let's look into that part next. Okay, so for that, so to make the changes we do in the inventory persistence, we need to take a look at how do we initialize the grid. So it's just like this, and I think this happens every time I open the inventory widget. To prove that I'll add this text here: inventory initialized. Right, now play the game, and when I press I, inventory initialized. When I press I, it will be closed again if I open, inventory initialized, like that. Okay, so now what we have to do is, in order to make the changes persistent throughout the gameplay, here I'm not considering, as for now I'm not thinking about how to load and save the inventory items and then to make the changes persistent through different sessions. I'm only concerned about for a single session of gameplay at the moment. So yeah, these are just for testing. These things I added. So okay, so now we need some kind of a data structure to keep these items that the player has collected. Right, so for that purpose, let's create another blueprint. I think we should create a blueprint component, so we can add it to this character as a component. So here, how do we define a component? Right, actor component. Okay, let's call it inventory. Right, now here let's add a variable. Let's call it items, and it should be in the type of resource data. Also it has to be an array. Right, now we should dynamically add items to this array as we collect things in the game, but for now I haven't implemented that part yet. So therefore, just like we do it here, let's make some resource data and add to this inventory in the begin play, like this: items, add like this. These are just for testing, alright. So we will be replacing this, we will remove this and create a proper way to collect items later. This is only for testing. Right, now instead of doing it like this, we need to, well, we need a way to get the inventory component from the player character. So get player character, and here we need a way to get inventory, but we don't have a way to do that unless we cast the player into the third person character. Oh, here we should add inventory like this as a component. Okay, so how do we get this? Okay, we have this BPI character interface, and here let's add a function to get inventory. As an output, I'll set inventory component. Okay, now here compile again. Under interfaces you have this get inventory. Just return this inventory blueprint inventory component. Now from the inventory widget I can access it like this, get inventory through BPI character blueprint interface. Okay, after getting the inventory we can, let's promote it to a variable. Let's call it character inventory. Right, now we can access items, and here we have to make sure that the number of different items this inventory can have is equal to the number of slots that we have in this inventory. So keep that in mind. For now we wouldn't have a problem because we only have 2 elements. For each element we can use this items array and get using this index and initialize that item with this resource and inventory widget is self. Okay, right, now I think we should have the same result like before. Yeah, we have, and we can drop, but still persistence is not there because even though we drop the item in the widget blueprint, we don't communicate that to the inventory that is attached to the player character. So how should we do that? Right, okay, let's go here to make this is kind of confusing because this one is also items and this one is also items. So I'll rename this one item widgets. Yeah, and then when we initialize the item we can, let's add another parameter here in type of integer. Let's call it item index, and let's save it, promote it to a variable as item index like this. Okay, Now at the moment we consume this event, this item, we can get the inventory, get items, and remove. Index. So yeah, we can remove item at given index. So for this we can use get the selected item and get item index, like this. We should do the same thing when we drop the item as well. Oh, right. Now this should be alright. Okay. Okay. Now let's see. Dropped. Right, now close and open again. Now we can see only the water bubble is there. Let's test again. But why just a water bubble? We drop this. And this should be the remaining one. But I got water bubble. That's confusing. Why did that happen? Sorry, I forgot to set this item index. Okay, now it should work. Alright, now close and open up the inventory again. Cool, now it's there. And also we may have another problem. The problem is, let's say if I drop this item again, now in the inventory items array there is only one element, but when I drop this again it will be trying to remove the element at index 1, not index 0. So we should get an null reference error, but we didn't. Let's see why. Drop, drop. See, it is not removed. Drop. Now it is removed. Okay, so to prevent that, we can do we can prevent it if we reinitialize the grid. So reinitialize the grid after removing an item, so it will also reorder the elements as well. So we can do it like this. Let's promote this to a macro. Initialize inventory items. So after removing this, we can again call this macro. Okay, now when I drop this should move here. Oh, and this is also there. Right. I think I know what to do. Yeah, before initializing here, for we have to reset all these item widgets for each. Let's create another function called reset. Custom event. Let's just call it reset widget. And here all I would be doing is set, no need to set that. Get the button and set enabled to false and get the icon set hidden, set visibility to hidden. Right, now we can call reset widget here. Right, now let's select this and drop. Now it is moved here. Select and drop. Now it is moved there. So we don't have anything in the inventory. If I get the inventory again after closing, you can see nothing is there. Okay, so now we have, yeah, just like that we have implemented the persistence of item for a single gameplay session in the inventory. And I'll stop this episode right here. Right, so as always, the project files will be available for the download through the Patreon page, and in the next episode I will work on saving and loading the items in the inventory between different gameplays. So when you close the game and when you open it again, the changes from the previous session will be saved. So that's the part I'm gonna try next time. And thanks for watching. So if you like to support my work, you can get the membership of the Patreon club. Link would be in the description below. And see you in another episode. Goodbye.